In this assignment, we're going to use this particular image. It's called Changing Colors. I did add my last name, first name. I did save it as a PDF or a PSD. This will be part of the contact sheet, so it won't matter either way. When you make the contact sheet, it'll be what it is. So the first thing that I'm going to do, according to your sheet in here, is we're going to create a new group. So I'm going to go over here, and I am going to create a new group, and I'm going to call that new group dress and shoes. Dress and shoes. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the color of our dress and then the shoes. We'll do the dress first. So we do want this to be a group, and I did go ahead and did a quick selection for you. It's not perfect, but it is selected. So if we go up here to select, remember, we can save selections. So since this was a PSD, when you opened it up, we are going to load our selection. And our selection, that first that we want is the sweater dress. And we're going to go ahead and say okay. It will select that dress. And again, if you go in here, you can see it's not quite perfect. It's a little boxy in places, but it'll do the job for this practice. Next thing that I want to do is I want to make a mask out of this selection. So we're going to make sure we're on this particular layer, and we're going to go down to our layer masks, and we're just going to click on it. And you can see that now I am hiding everything on this layer, okay, or on this group. There's nothing in the group currently, with the exception of the dress. Okay, so if I now go over here to the left or to the right, I'm sorry, and go down to adjustments layer, I'm going to just pick a color for whatever color you want that dress to be. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to apply a solid color. So you can make it whatever color that you want. I think I'm going to make it kind of like a mustardy color. And say okay. Now it looks just like a drawing, right? There's no seam. You can't see any wrinkles or anything else on the dress, so we do need to change our blending mode. So go over here, and you can pick whichever blending mode you feel works best. If you're like, oh, I feel like soft light works better, or if you're like, I think color works better, you can decide which one of those blending modes you think works the best. If you want to do some more adjustments, maybe you picked a very dark color. Sometimes very dark or very bright colors. Sometimes this doesn't pull through very well. So if that is the case, what we can do is we can go in here and maybe add either curves or levels. If I go in here and I add levels and I maybe decrease the or increase the white that is involved there, or I could decrease. Now, I probably wouldn't want to do that. Don't forget that you could also go up here and just decrease it this way or increase it depending on what it is that you want to do. Maybe I want to make it a little bit darker. And again, don't like the color, you can go up here and you can do some adjustments on your color. Okay, and again, if you don't like that blending mode, you could choose something else where maybe the color that you want shows through. Next thing that I want to do is I want to create another new group called coat and socks. So I'm going to close this one out, and I'm just going to hit apply. Oh, shoot, wrong one. Sorry, I didn't mean to want to do a new group. So we are going to add a new group, and we're going to call that coat and socks. Okay. And the next thing I want to do is I want to load in the coat. So I do have that up here, select, load selection. And if I go in here to channels, I do have coat. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. You can see that, again, that might not be perfect. There might be some minor things that you like right there that you might have to adjust, but at least it got a lot of it done for you. So I go over here and I do want to add a mask again. Go in here, you can decide what color you want. Same thing as we just did with the dress. So I'm going to go here, going to add a color adjustment. I'm going to do a solid color. We're going to do another, just something a little bit different. Maybe I'll do it more green. this time, again, I do want to do a, some type of a color. And again, too bright, too dark, you can make those decisions. You can go in here. We could change the color of it if we want it to be, I kind of like that one. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. Kind of like the way that feels. I could go in here and obviously fix any of this, because if I zoom in on this, this would not really be acceptable if I was doing this for a client. So I could go in here, make sure I'm on my mask, okay? Hit B for brush. I want to hide that section, so I'm going to make my brush a little smaller using my my brackets. I could go in here, just do some hiding. Just do, again, some touch-ups around wherever it is. I always like to go around, make sure things look okay, like here's another section. This time, though, instead of subtracting, I'm going to hit the X on the keyboard, change to white for my brush, and I'm going to just kind of paint that back in there. That looks better. And again, when we get into projects, I do expect it to be perfect for these practices. I'm not as picky. So just to kind of give you a heads up there, not nearly as picky on the practices. Okay, and again, I don't want to waste my time with this video as far as taking up time perfecting it, but I would like you to just go around making sure that things are done. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is this one called coat and socks and this one called dress and shoes when they are not selected? We do need to add those to these selections. So I am going to go down here, make sure I am on my mask. I'm going to go over here. Actually, I'm not going to make sure I'm on my mask. I apologize. I'm going to make sure I'm on my background layer. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go ahead and do object selection tool. Select, deselect, and if I click on the boots, it recognizes that those are boots. With those selected, I am going to go back up here to my dress and shoes. I am now currently on my mask. With my mask selected, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose white. And I am going to either paint it in with a paintbrush, or I could just simply go to my paint bucket and I could fill those in. If I click on it, I can see that it did change, so I do know, and I can see it over here, that did change the color. Okay, and then the socks, I want it to be the green color, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to deselect everything, Command D, Command or Control. I apologize, I'm on a Mac, so Command or Control D. I'm going to go up here to my coat and socks, do the same thing. This time, do you want to use object selection? We'll try the object selection this time. Oops, make sure you're on the background. Yep, that looks pretty good. I feel like it missed a little bit of the socks, but again, for our practicing purposes, I think it'll be good. And grab our paint bucket, our white paint bucket. Make sure you are on the coat and socks, physically on the mask layer, and click fill. Okay, and then that should select, deselect, fill in the socks. Actually, it looks pretty good. Oh, there's a piece missing right there. Again, little things like that just bother me. So I'm going to hit B on the brush. I want to make sure I add that. And again, use your brackets. Make sure that you are using those shortcuts, the brackets, for making your brush bigger and smaller. Hitting the X on the keyboard to switch your black and white brush over here.